I told her he was rather an ugly man. I love this book. Oh, sorry, Jane, I did not mean to slap your face. They kept him in a dark place like a cheese. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of this Read It or Unhaul It challenge, where essentially in this jar there's a whole bunch of book titles of books that I have been avoiding or not wanting to read. And the goal with this challenge is that each month I will pick 3 prompts, read all 3 books, or if I don't read them, I have to unhaul them. Now, in February, did I slightly bend the rules, and let myself have a few more extra days? Yes, okay, because it was my first time doing this, and also it was a learning experience. What I've learned from last month that I'll be taking into this month is that, when there are books that I don't really want to read, I need to be setting aside time, and I can't just avoid them to the end of the month, because then I still don't want to read them. And I know that's not the point, and I know the point is to get rid of things, but in February I gave myself a few extra days to finish the books. And also I was like, well, February is a shorter month. Okay, yeah, maybe, but no more doing that. We're gonna pull 3 prompts out of this. I'm a teensy little bit scared, but I'm just making myself dizzy, because if I'm really that scared, well then just get rid of the books. These are the picks for March. Sorry, my eyes are really itchy. Do I have a disease? Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to just pick out the 3 prompts. Also, I tried to do a TBR jar thing. This is what I used to use for the TBR jar. Don't know where the other prompts went, I think. Oh, wait, that one just fell out, so maybe this is a sign. This book is a sign. Whatever this book says, it's a sign. I can't read that. Oh, no! 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 Not this book. I don't want to read this. Can I put it back in there? I'm pretty sure when I was I accidentally pulled out this prompt. I think I pulled out this prompt and I was like, oh, I'm not reading that. When I was just sort of showing what kind of prompts were in this. I don't want to read this. Okay, maybe I might unhaul this book. Because I don't want to. As soon as I bought it because I thought it was a literary fiction. It is not a literary fiction. And apparently it's so cringy. I can't even find where it is on my shelf. This is actually quite... it's not even on here. Did I already get rid of it? Oh, no. Unfortunately not. I found it. I thought this was a literary fiction, and it's not. And I don't... nothing about this book seems appealing to me. Wait, actually, it doesn't sound that... Let me just flick to a random page, and then I'll read a little bit out. Jean-Pierre! Admittedly, waking Jean-Pierre from his slumber in France to convince him to sell me this fine establishment was a challenge. But as you well aware, I never shy away from those. You bought this restaurant just so you could kick me out of it. What? Maybe a different one. Utter silence suspended in the air. Romeo had a chauffeur. It snapped the last thread holding my anger at bay. If only I could angry cry. Literally, look at this cover and tell me that you didn't think it was a literary fiction. I thought this was gonna be exploring the classical era, potentially. Maybe the Renaissance. No. Maybe I should give it a chance. Maybe I should give this book a chance. I mean, I guess this is what it's for. To all the girls eager to marry a grumpy... Stop. Okay, this is a rant. I hate when male main characters are described using that specific word. Grumpy, okay, what? You're a character from Snow White? Oh, so you're an old man? It gets, oh my, is he an old man? Maybe? Tortured billionaire. That's fine. But, grumpy, I hate that word so much. No offense, but I hate so many words that start with G. There are so many words that I absolutely hate. This is the whole point of making this video, is to read the books I've been avoiding or not wanting to read. And you know what? Maybe, okay, you know what? It's fine. Fine. We're gonna read it this month. We're gonna read it or unhaul it like this, like the challenge suggested. You know what? I feel so bad now for briefly hating on the books from last month, because in comparison, okay, it was not a sign. How dare I? I'm actually gonna the only reason why I'm giving it a chance is because this is Orion Publishers, and that's what published Magnolia Parks. That's the only reason why. What does this one say? Guys, I'm so scared now. What? What is this? Jane Eyre? Oh, wait, okay. This is going to make up for it. I swear I just heard someone. I swear I just heard something at my door. Oh my god. I like how she lets me know when she wants to be in my room. She can join in on the video now. Okay, so Jonah, this was so interesting because last night I was literally thinking to myself, I want to start reading, like I haven't read a single classic this year, I don't believe I have, and I want to get back into reading them. And believe it or not, Jane Eyre was actually the one that I was wanting to read. So I'm actually like really excited to read Jane Eyre, because also then after I read Jane Eyre, then I want to read Rebecca, because, you know, Rebecca is like, I believe it was like inspired by Jane Eyre, was it, or am I just like making things up? But I'm actually really excited about this. So this is making up for that disaster of a book right there. Again, I don't know where it is because I just basically dumped all the stuff back on my bookshelves, and now I don't know where the things are. Where did it go? I literally cannot find it. Oh, there it is. It's literally right here. Wait, I'm actually so excited for this book. Last one. You know what? This month could actually end up being an amazing month. You know, I'm really scared for this last month because please don't be something bad. Please don't be something bad. Like, there's so much. Okay, did one fall out? No, but one slightly peeked out. No, it's not a sign. Okay, I have one. It's another blue one. What? Do you want to go outside? Okay, hang on. Let me just. What is this? Hang on, bear with me here. A Tale of Two Cities. Okay, so I guess when I said that I wanted to read classics, well, I'm getting my wish. What an interesting. Okay, nope, that's Great Expectations. Okay, Tale of Two Cities. Well, you know, I've actually forgotten what books I put in here. I mean, I think I can somewhat guess, because if I look at some books, I'm like, I don't want to read them, but then also I was like, did I even put them in there? I don't know. So, A Tale of Two Cities. This one should be interesting. Okay. It was a season of darkness. It was a spring of hope. It was a winter of despair. We had everything before us. We had nothing before us. We were all going direct to heaven. We were all going direct the other way. Is this the start of the book? Or is it just... Okay, it is. I was like, is this just the author's note? Hang on, let's just, flip to a random page. I'm gonna do it for the Jane Eyre one as well. Okay, so... Hang on, let's do it again. Okay. Ah, the unfortunate, miserable people. Bessie and I converged about old times an hour longer, and then she was obliged to leave me. This is what we have. I don't even know what book I want to start with. I'll be back whenever I have my first update. I don't even really know what to say, to be honest, but... So, actually, it is no longer 2023. It's 2025. A little toad? Why are all the insults, like, animal related? The little rat of a guy, he called her a rat, as well as a bad animal. I am literally so engrossed in this that literally, like, so basically it follows like Jane throughout lots of different aspects of her life, and in this one specific situation she is going back to a place that was very prevalent in her childhood, and we are seeing a character who is, you know, very significant when she was said child, and it's like they like have just met again and, you know, reunited. And why do I feel like I want to cry? It's like, why do I feel like these are not real people, but why does it feel like it's like you on this journey with Jane as she's saying everything that's happened, and it's just, it is like seeing someone that you used to know. And I love the writing style. I've tabbed so many things. There are so many like just beautiful descriptions. I'm obsessed with the writing style. I'm obsessed with the way that things have been described. That certain phrases and things, it's wild. And it's just like, so for example, I told her he was rather an ugly man, but quite a gentleman. One thing about Rochester is that he is just like, everyone thinks he's ugly, but no, I really am liking this, and I like all the different parts. Guys, I am stopping everything. Okay, I'm stopping everything to talk about this book. So I'm currently on page 399. That's actually really frustrating. I really should have, at least finished the chapter, but no. Okay, I'm on page 399, and I am adoring this book. I think this book is going to be 5 stars. I am so obsessed with this. I absolutely love the writing style. I love the way that things are described. I love the way that things are portrayed. The way that the situations are unfolding. This is particularly one situation, and I don't want to give too much because I'm actually kind of annoyed because as I was reading, something jogged my memory because someone, well, actually quite a lot of people were saying that there's this one book, right, by this very popular author, and, once she was very beloved, and then everyone was like, wait, her stuff is so problematic, right, but it's one specific book, and people are like, you know what, I hate all the other ones, but this one is okay. But then everyone was saying that that was basically a ripoff of Jane Eyre. And so as I'm reading this, I'm like, hang on a second. Wait a minute. Like, I think I can put the pieces together. But else, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. And okay, yes, I know this book was written a very long time ago, but still, I don't really want to spoil anything. But anyways, the specific situations with a specific person, and it's like actually horrifying. Like, the things that this person is saying, I'm like, will you hear reason? Because if you won't, I'll try violence. But anyways, I'm obsessed with the writing style. I stayed behind a few minutes to plant in my garden a handful of roots I had dug up in the forest, and which I feared would wither if I left them till the morning. This done, I lingered yet a little longer. The flowers smelt so sweet as the dew fell. It was such a pleasant evening, so serene, so warm. The still glowing west promised so fairly another fine day on the morrow. The moon rose such majesty in the grave east. Just the way that things are said. I'm obsessed with it. And also weird things, are happening. So obviously we have like fire happening and just, I don't know. I'm really liking this book. I love Jane so much. Also, a thought came upon me, right? So basically, this month we're in April, right? Okay, technically this is March book, but okay. I had a delay for February reading, so I'm giving myself some grace, right? But for Rebecca, a lot of people say that like it was based basically upon this, and what I think is really interesting is that Jane, right, the book is called Jane Eyre, whereas in Rebecca, and Jane is referred to a lot throughout this novel. Like, if someone was to say, what is the main character's name in this book? It would be so obvious what the name is. Like, there's no, like, doubt about it, like, what the main character's name is, who the main character is. Whereas in Rebecca, the main character is not given, like, it's not explicitly known what her name is. I love the way it's written. I love the storyline. Again, I love, because we start off with her at her aunt's house, right, with her cousins. They are terrible. They're awful to her, right? And then she gets shipped off to this boarding school place, like this Lowood house. And then, she then becomes a governess, right? And I just love how, like, the reason why we had to see that is because there's literally a scene where she has, like, a dream about, like, the Red Room, which the Red Room is something that she experiences when she's at her aunt's place and everything that, like, happens there. And I just love the way that everything links together. I'm not looking at any, like, I had to pause, right? I am reading this book as I am preparing to go out, like, I'm reading this book as I'm going to go out, and I literally have to stop. I have to stop to literally update you because this is so good. Right now, it's 5 stars. Now, there is still, I think, 123 or 122 or so pages left. So, I don't know how much can change, but this book it is so good. I love the characters. I love the interactions. I love Jane so much. I would fight for Jane. There are literally instances where I'm like, Jane, don't worry, like, I have you. Like, there's one instance because basically, then she's the governess, and then, there's like a little romance, and then like some things are revealed, and then she like scurries away, she runs away, and I'm like, wait, yes, Jane, that's so, yes, exactly. You run away from your problems. I'm kidding, no, we don't run away from our problems. We don't run away. We face them. We don't run away anymore. Okay, that is not who we are anymore. Yeah, okay, when we were younger, we used to run away. That is not us anymore. Whatever. But there's this one girl, and I was just like, I hate you for being mean to Jane. There is some man who's like to her, are you a spinster? Like, yeah, I just love this book. This book is 5 stars. I know it's good. Well, okay, imagine if I'm just like, the last 100 pages also lost me and it's not 5 stars anymore. Right now it's 5 stars. okay? I am going to recommend this. This book is such a good book. Like, and it makes me annoyed. It makes me infuriated that this book was sitting on my TBR for so long because, like, I'm enjoying my time so thoroughly as I'm reading this book. And it is so good. And just, like, Jade, I love you so much. You can have my vape if you want it. I adore this book, okay? 5 stars. I love it, okay? This book is so good. I am so glad that little TBR thing chose this book because I'm having such a good time with this. Oh my god, I took out my bookmark. What part was I up to? Hang on. No, I literally told you. What page was I on? I was literally on, like... No. We can work this out. So I said that I was on, like... There was some page, it was, like... I could have... Yes, I think it was, like, 399 or something. Because I remember I was, like... I could at least finish the end of the chapter because it's really annoying this on 399. Okay, yeah, that's where I was on. Never mind, guys. I found my page, even though I lost it. Yes. Because, yeah, this is the next chapter. It's okay, guys. I found it. Glad we have some problem solving together. Okay. I'm almost done this book, but I love when seemingly non-important things happen at the start of a book, and then at the end, it, like, shows that it actually was not insignificant, and, like, it links, and, like, you know? I love the atmosphere in this as well. I will admit, I was hoping for a different ending, but I get it. I understand. So, I am moving on to A Tale of Two Cities. Looking at the cover, it honestly looks like some sort of... I don't know why, the girl in the middle, she's giving pirate, you know, with, like, the dress and then the sword. So, I actually don't know what this is about. I thought that A Tale of Two Cities was, for whatever reason, okay, this is my mind. I don't know why I'm thinking this. Maybe this is right, maybe it's not. But I swear it was, like, it's, like, one city here, or, like, one place here. Then there was a bridge, then another place here. And it was, like, very literal. Two cities, but I'm pretty sure it's, you know, A Tale of Two Cities in, like, different people. So, vividly interweaving epic historical drama with personal tragedy, Dickens' gripping novel depicts the lives of two very different men. Charles Darnay. I love the fact that so many authors, like older authors, their characters have the same name as them. Okay, so Charles, an exiled French aristocrat, and Sidney Carton, a disreputable but brilliant English lawyer, as they become enmeshed through their love for... Oh, I thought it was going to be their love together. For Lucy Manette, the daughter of a political prisoner. From the tranquil roads of London... It's set in London! Hang on, look at my Apple Watch. I literally have it constantly set to London, so every time I look down, it's like, London! They are drawn against their will to be vengeful. Blood-stained streets of Paris at the height of the Reign of Terror, and they soon fall under the lethal shadow of the guillotine. That's the one where, like, your head gets chopped off, and it was an entire thing, because there'd be, like, crowds and stuff. So, there's also illustrations in this. That seems to be, like, at a bar, or a tavern or some sort. I quite like that. But yeah, I have some tabs here. I have my pen, and I'm going to, yes, start reading this because I'm very curious about what is going to happen and everything. So I'm on page 1, but I'm starting... I really like the first sentence. However, the first sentence is in fact 9 lines. So this book, already, like, from the first page, I feel like there's going to be long sentences, a rambly writing style. Even this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's, like, multiple lines for each sentence. And, you know, I feel like it is that kind of, like, rambliness, blah, blah, blah. Also, I think this is about the French Revolution, I think. Okay, yes, apparently this is a historical novel which explores the French Revolution. And apparently this book explores the fall of Bastille. Wait, that's that song, isn't it? No, it's not. Never mind. Wrong thing. No, never mind. The singer is Bastille, but his song is nothing to do with this. It's for something completely different. I apologize. The September massacres and the Reign of Terror. So it's just all about, like, the French Revolution and, like, what the world was like surrounding that at that time and everything. Honestly, I'm really hoping it's going to be stuff about, like, the aristocrats, because I feel like, I don't know, I'm just really interested in like the aristocracy, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like long sentences. For example, this sentence, in the midst of them, the hangman, ever busy and ever worse than useless, was in constant requisition, now stringing up long rows of miscellaneous criminals, now hanging a housebreaker on Saturday who had been taken on Tuesday, now burning people in the land at Newgate by the dozen, and now burning pamphlets at the door of Westminster Hall. Today taking the life of an atrocious murder, and tomorrow of a wretched pilferer who had been robbed a farmer's boy of sixpence. That was one sentence. So yes, I feel like Charles Dickens has quite long sentences, I fear. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just simply making a comment about an look. That's a illustration. Okay, so yes, literally still stuck on the first page. I just read ahead then, but no, I'm going back to reading. And yeah, honestly guys, either listening to rain or subway sounds, trains, but like make it American, or brown noise. I really love listening to brown noise when I'm reading now, and hopefully I can get this book finished and then we can do My Dark Romeo. But I'm really scared of that book because I don't, out of all the books for this video, like I'm so scared for My Dark Romeo. Like,
there has been a lot of mentions of the sea, which I actually like because I really like the sea. But yes, like a lot of metaphors and similes, or just literally straight up mentions of the sea.
okay, so I'm up to chapter 3. It is called, that chapter title is called A Disappointment. And I do have some thoughts. I was writing my thoughts in the actual book because I'm annotating this book so much more than Jane Eyre. This book, the way it's written, it's very different to Jane Eyre. Like I said, this guy, he waffles quite a lot. And I'm just making a comment, but I'm very interested though, because right now there was the guy who was in prison, you know, and the way that things are described, you know, like the way that was metaphorically talked about, like he literally had been buried alive for 18 years and he was just like a corpse. But like because, you know, there's a lot of like the way things are described, it's very dark. And I've gone through and I've like underlined a few things. See, like just for example, in the gloomy tile-paved entry to the gloomy tile-paved staircase, there's just lots of that. And again, there's so much stuff about like the ocean. For example, haunted in a most ghastly manner that abominable place would have been, if the glass could ever have rendered back its reflections as the ocean is one day to give up its dead. This place I'm imagining as just not a very flowery, sunshine, happy place. This is not a very flowery, sunshine, happy place at the moment. Like, putting to death was a recipe much in vogue with all trades and professions. They kept him in a dark place like a cheese until he had the full telsome flavour and blue mould upon him. You know, the money came out of or went into wormy old wooden drawers. Banknotes had a musty odour as if they were fast decomposing into rags again. Beneath that arch of unmoved and eternal lights, some so remote from this little earth that the learned tell us it's doubtful whether their rays have even yet discovered it. As a point in space where anything is suffered or done, the shadows of the night were broad and black, all through the cold and restless interval until dawn. And also, I feel like we're gonna get like exploration into this specific father and daughter dynamic, like the daughter, because her dad was the one that was in jail all that time. And I like the images. I love when there's images. And like everything is just so bleak, you know? The faintness of the voice was pitiable and dreadful. I'm not reading the entire thing because it's long, but its deplorable peculiarity was that it was the faintness of solitude and disuse. It was like the last feeble echo of a sound made long and long ago. It had lost the life and resonance of the human voice. It had affected the senses, a once beautiful colour, faded away into a poor, weak state. A hopeless and lost creature, that a famous traveller, wearied out by lonely wandering in a wilderness, would have remembered home and friends in such a tone before lying down to die. But yeah, I really liked that image, that so entirely had it lost the life and resonance of the human voice, that it affected the senses like a once beautiful colour, faded away into a poor, weak stain. I like that. This guy, like, he's holding, like, he has his arm around the girl, and it's like he held her for he felt that she was sinking. You know what else sinks? Boats in the ocean. You know, so there's a lot of, like, it's very bleak, and also it's not a happy book so far, right? But also with all the, like, references to the ocean and everything, the ocean is quite tumultuous. It can be. The ocean, yes, it can be calm and beautiful, but it can also be really unpredictable. The waves can crash and cause destruction. It can be really dangerous, and I feel like that's purposeful. Like, wine rotted, cadaverous faces, blood. Like, these things are just, like, casually just put throughout, like, words like that put through. And, you know, some guy is literally like, I have no feelings. I'm a mere machine. Feelings? I have no time for them, no chance of them. I pass my whole life, miss, in turning an immense pecuniary mangle. Oh yeah, guys, I'm also stealing this. I love reading books and finding specific lines, and I'm just like, I'm gonna start using that. I never use them, but I just like thinking that at some point I will. I can bear anything but the uncertainty you leave me in at this moment. His linen was as white as the tops of the waves that broke upon the neighbouring beach, or the specks of sail that glinted in the sunlight far at sea. Ocean. When Mr. Lorry had finished his breakfast, he went out for a stroll on the beach. The little narrow, crooked town of Dover hid itself away from the beach and ran its head into the chalk cliffs, like a marine ostrich. The beach was a desert, of heaps of sea and stones tumbling wildly about, and the sea did what it liked, and what it liked was destruction. It thundered at the town. It thundered at the cliffs, and brought the coast down madly. The air among the houses was of so strong as piscatory flavour that one might have supposed sick fish went up to be dipped in it, as sick people went down to be dipped in the sea. Yeah, I just thought I'd give an update while I'm reading this. I have quite a long way to go, but yeah, also I drew a little illustration. Do you want to see it? I drew a horse. What is this? Front wrappers for monthly numbers. Oh, I like that. So I have 322 pages left. I'm thinking I'm going to read more, and then I'll update you a little bit later. As how I'm feeling, I feel like this book, it's not going to be 5 stars for me, personally. Like, I feel like when I was reading Jane Eyre, I was just like, this is 100% 5 stars. Like, I just knew. This one, I'm like, I mean, yeah, I'm enjoying it. I like how, I love when settings are just so, you know, like, dark and gloomy and bleak, and there's, you know, happiness has just been, like, leached from the entire world. I like settings that are like that. So far, this has been, like, what the setting is, as, like, you know, because all the things that I read out to you. I feel like I'm sitting in the same spot as morning, possibly even wearing the same pajamas. There is pizza residue on this. Anyways, I'm up to page 164, and I just noticed a few things. I can't remember that number, 164. But why is it, there's literally, look at the bear. Look at the bear. Like, listen to this. Like, I don't really understand. A bear leader, a popular street character of the time, was impressed as an additional ornament before the cavalcade had gone far down the Strand, and his bear, who was very black and very mangy, gave quite an undertaking air to that part of the procession in which he walked. But a bear leader? I've never heard of a bear leader ever in my entire life. I didn't really know what to say to that. I feel like this sentence really also describes that food is not plentiful. For example, a beautiful landscape with the corn bright in it but not abundant. People are sad. People are, you know, looking for an escape. See, it must be an immense satisfaction. He said it bitterly and filled up his glass again, which was a large one. So it seems like people are, you know, turning to alcohol. I think you've been drinking, Mr. Carton. He resorted to his pint of wine for consolation, drank it all in a few minutes, and fell asleep on his arms, with his hair straggling over the table and a long winding sheet in the candle dripping down upon him. Those were drinking days, and most men drank hard. It's not a very happy book at all. I did not expect it to be. I didn't expect it to be. Okay, this book was also published in 1859, and I just want to say and give a fair warning, like, it is obvious that it was published in 1859. Like, some of the things that are said, some of the word choices, etc., like, it is, indicative of the time. There's also, there's a lot about, like, the social standings and different people in society and the injustices and inequality that they face. Also, everything is really quite descriptive, so you're really getting the picture in your mind of, like, what the landscape is looking like, what the situations that are unfolding, how they're unfolding, just because it is so, like, detailed and so descriptive about so many things as well. Also, things are said, like, pretty bluntly sometimes. So, like, for example, all the women knitted. They knitted worthless things. But the mechanical work was a mechanical substitute for eating and drinking. That is so sad. I really love the dynamic between Lucy and her dad. And I don't know, like, I do quite like how a lot of this is written. Like, never did the moon rise with a milder radiance over great London than on that night when it found them still seated under the tree and shone upon their faces through its leaves. They had said little, though they had been there a long time. I love when you can just, like, sit with someone and, like, you don't have to be feeling the silence every 10 seconds, She had employed herself in both ways. At his side under the tree, many and many time, but this time was not quite like any other, and nothing could make it. So I don't want to tell you what they're talking about while they're, like, sitting under the tree, just because, like, okay, guys, I know this book was published in the 1800s, so I know that technically when people are talking about, like, etiquette, is that the word? Etiquette. That is not the word. Etiquette. Is that what it's called? I don't know, like, I don't want to, like, I'm reading you quotes and stuff, but really, like, going, like, in depth about, like, certain things happening, just in case you did want to read it. But, like, another quote, right? In the moonlight, which is always sad. I don't know. I'm actually really enjoying this book, actually. Oh, wait, I really like this. If you like revolutionaries and revolutions and uprisings and things like that, I think you will like this book. I'm not letting myself read my anticipated releases that are over there. The books that are there that I want to read. I'm not letting myself read them until A Tale of Two Cities is done and My Dark Romeo is done. So, A Tale of Two Cities, I am making really good progress through that book, but I feel like I need to just pause for that entire thing and just... Gray just had a rustling in my room, and just start this and just read it. And I know that, like, I just need to. So I'm going to try really hard not to update every 10 seconds, but I'm going to start it and then we will go from there. I'm snuggled up in my bed. Yeah, I'm going to read until then. I'm going to turn off my light, but I'm turning that because I want to read as much as I possibly can. Page 1. This is giving heavy Wattpad. I always assumed my life was a romance novel, that between my pages nestled a happily ever after. It never occurred to me that I miscategorized my genre, that it could be a horror story, a blood-chilling thriller. Then Romeo Costa typhooned into my world, ripping off my rose-coloured glasses. He taught me darkness. He taught me strength. Most importantly, he delivered the cruelest lesson of all. There's beauty in every beast, thorns in every rose, and a love story can blossom even from the carcass. of a... I thought this was supposed to be like a Romeo and Juliet retelling. I don't actually know where I got that from. So why are they talking about Beauty and the Beast? Okay, so it's starting at a ball, at a party gathering, and everyone's rich. Okay. Literally, what is this? Romeo Costa with the dissatisfied detachment of a man who had to feast on back alley garbage for dinner. What are these similes? I don't know. I'm just gonna leave this here. Guys, I'm wheezing. You were made for corruption. Shortbread. She clawed at his suit. What am I reading? Wait, okay, that's funny. That one is that's actually funny. What is going on? He's buying her? What is going on? Delusion was something that ran in this family. I can't take this book serious. Do you have another one stashed somewhere I should know about for when the time comes and this entire place is underwater? And what does it mean he's climbing up the walls? What? Ew. Sometimes when I was here I looked outside hoping to catch an ambulance rolling up the hill to my parents' place, plucking my lifeless father from his bed. For a dying man, he seemed to be hanging in there. Okay. Okay, my dear friends, let's talk about I'm missing, where's My Dark Romeo at? So finish that book, and I'm just going to give you my final thoughts and then maybe a little bit of a conclusion because I have finished these books, finally. Bear with me. Found this! Okay, so what book should I talk about first? Maybe I should talk about A Tale of Two Cities. Let's talk about A Tale of Two Cities. This book, I would recommend this book to you if you like the whole uprising thing, if you like a bit of a sacrifice, like someone sacrificing themselves kind of vibe. Not saying who, not saying why, not saying what. Maybe a little bit of redemption. If you like kind of that rambly kind of writing style that's like overly descriptive of little things, and then I would recommend it to you. There were so many good quotes in this book. There were so many good quotes in this book. And, you know, I'm just going to spend some time just reading a little bit about them. I love the ending line. Like, I love the ending line. Oh, guys, look at also this. Look at this romance. You comfort me so much. I might have kissed you now. Is the moment come? Yes. She kisses his lips. He kisses hers. They solemnly bless each other. That down there is the juryman. I thought that said Julian. And I almost was like, Julian! It's because I'm wearing my Magnolia Parks. What is this called? It's not a jumper. What is it? A crew neck. Okay. But there are so many good quotes and stuff. And I love the pictures. I will admit, some of these annotations are not annotations. They are simply just... Before I go, I may kiss her. Then he says, a life you love. In a dead silence and stillness, the prisoner under trial looking lovingly at his wife only looking from him. I like this kind of skerricks of romance. I have saved him. It was not another of the dreams in which he'd often come back. He was really here. I'm not reading the next line because I feel like that's kind of a bit of a spoiler. All the air around was so thick and dark. The people were so passionately revengeful and fitful. The innocent were so constantly put to death on vague suspicion and black malice. It was so impossible to forget that many as blameless as I can't say that because it's a spoiler. Every day shared the fate from which he'd been clutched, that her heart could not be lighted of its load as she felt it ought to be. The shadows of the wintry afternoon were beginning to fall, and even now the dreadful carts. It's crazy that carts were like, that's how people got around. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh, a cart. But like, it was just, that was like the car. Did car come from cart? If you think about it, like car. Did it come from carts? Is that the origin of the word cart? We're rolling through the streets. Her mind, I thought I said peruse. Her mind pursued them, looking for him among the condemned. And then she clung closer to his real presence and trembled more. Take off his head. In all weathers, in the snow and frost of winter, in the bitter winds of spring, in the hot sunshine of summer and the rains of autumn, and again in the snow and frost of winter. See, like, it's descriptive, you know, the blackened remains of burnt houses, patrol watch on the road. It's just dreary roads. 4 stars. I would recommend it. I think if you've never read a single classic before, I don't necessarily know if this is the right one to start with, or maybe it's just this edition. I've always kind of seen Penguin Classics as a very accessible way to read classics. That is, like, in my opinion. So, you know, sometimes the wording, like, it was a bit, ooh, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't as kind of as Jane Eyre was for me, you know? So, like, And there was some parts when I was reading this and I was like, oh, it feels like I'm reading a classic. So I don't necessarily know if I'd recommend this for your very first classic ever. If you wanted to read a Dickens book for your first classic ever, please read A Christmas Carol. I love A Christmas Carol so much. That is 5 stars. I am reading that every single year at Christmas time. Last year was the 2nd year that I read it. This year will be the 3rd. I'm just going to keep doing it because I just love that story so much, and I definitely would recommend A Christmas Carol. Oh, Charles Dickens does quite write a lot of kind of bleak things. Wait, things are bleak a little bit, and then near the end there is some sort of sacrifice. Like Scrooge, it was a sacrifice of his old self and also of his funds a bit. But in this it's something different, which I'm not going to tell you because I know it was written a million years ago, but I don't want to spoil it. So yeah, that is my thoughts on A Tale of Two Cities. I'm so glad I read this, and I'm so glad I read this, and I do have great expectations, I believe. So at some point I will be reading that. I don't know when. I can't even find it. Do I even have great expectations? I swear I did. Oh yeah, I do. I have great expectations. I think I'm going to wait a little bit before I read this. What is this one? Oh, this actually sounds quite good. I'm excited that I have that. But yes, I really did thoroughly enjoy this. I definitely think having knowledge about the historical context will be very beneficial because it just, I don't know, it really helps you see things a little better. Or if not, just have Google ready to just be a little bit thoroughly glad I read this. Let's move on. Let's talk about My Dark Romeo now. Because this book, when I first started reading it, I was in pain, guys. I was in pain. And what I had to do was, I had an Audible credit, and literally I could not find this. Or this book was not on Spotify. If I was to buy it somewhere else, it was gonna be $30. I'm not buying an audiobook when I have the physical book. And the difference with the Audible subscription thing is because I use that for I have the one where you can listen to the ones that are in the Audible subscription thing. So when I'm going to sleep, I don't know, the cheesy thrillers that are free, I listen to them. It's actually not even bad. There's one I can't remember which one it is because basically every single night I have to restart it, but I'm actually really thoroughly enjoying it. Let's talk about My Dark Romeo though. So this book was giving Wattpad. The fact that this book is just casually resting upon Jane Eyre right now feels wrong. It feels wrong. I don't know what to say. But it's giving very much Wattpad-y. He literally buys her a $2 million statement ring to be better than the guy that she was initially engaged to, just to spite him. Literally he wants his dad dead so he can be CEO. Oh, maybe that's kind of realistic actually. So basically another thing with the Wattpad is that kind of relatable main character. You know, she's obsessed with sweets. She's obsessed with foods. She's sassy, but she's rich. She's ridiculously rich. He also says some he's got some lines about her. Some of them are wow, that's actually really quite what? Why would you say that? But but then other times it's just kind of funny a little bit. So it's it seemed fitting that a cookie cutter mansion housed my cookie obsessed bride. So I'm saying she's obsessed with sweets, you know, and eating. So there were some diabolical things in this book, I'll tell you that. Specifically with the depictions of sexual activity, it was just giving. Do these people know what that? That sounds so mean to say. It's just giving a little bit ooh. What do you mean through sheets? What do you mean through underwear? What do you mean the toothbrush? Oh, a big plot point is that the town where she grows up in, it's the Southern hospitality, but they're very religious. They live in a very strict household. So, you know, I swear I just saw something peeking over that. What was I getting at? I was getting at something, but I don't know, that it does have that inexperienced trope kind of thing. She wants a child so badly in this book. That's what she wants. He's she's lazy, she has no goals, she has no ambitions. I think it's funny because in the book she's doing creative writing or whatever, and she failed, and he's how can you fail anything in creative writing? And I just think it's funny because one of the authors, I always read the little author things but one of the authors in this book, in spite of her shoddy attendance record and strong aversion to homework, she earned a BA in creative writing. And I was like, I mean, I guess it is kind of normal though for like a lot of authors to make their main characters she's also book obsessed. So again, like that relatableness. They write them like book obsessed, library obsessed, like working in a library, working in publishing, an author, etc. So like, I guess it makes sense. Having a writing degree, having an English degree. Guys, actually, fun fact, in my first year of uni, I was doing an English degree because I wanted to work in publishing and be an editor. And then I swapped to psychology because I was also just doing like psychology courses just because. And I swapped. But I was originally doing English. Kind of forget about that sometimes. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, she really badly wants a child because he's just like, you have no ambitions, you're lazy, whatever. And she's like, my one ambition is to be a mother. That's what she wants. He does not want children. Also, his backstory, like, it is tragic. Again, I don't want to compare it to Wattpad, but like, you know, like the level of like traumatic backstories for the male main character in Wattpad, that was giving that here. You know, how she considers this, she doesn't do it, but how she considers impregnating herself. I was a little bit like, what? Okay, like, I don't know how to say it, because it's a spoiler, and I also think that, like, if you want to know, I don't even know. Also, another, like, Wattpad kind of aspect, like, literally, he buys a restaurant, and then the whole strip of restaurants just to simply ban this one guy, like, that kind of level of, like, power and wealth, you know? However, there was lots of mentions of food. For the first couple of mentions, I was, like, screenshotting them, because I'm like, that actually looks so good, so, like, I'll insert them now. And then I just stopped doing it because there's so many mentions of food. But a lot of them, like, they sounded so good. You know what? This is a series, and honestly, I am not actually opposed to continuing on to this. Like, this book was ridiculous. There were so many cringy things, but it was, like, so entertaining. And also, yeah, the audiobook, it was just, like, there's a lot of, like, diabolical things. For example, she had the stamina since her jaw worked out all day from eating. That is, I don't even know what to say. And also, like, some of the things that, like, there's a specific situation that happens near the end, and he's glad that it happened, and I'm just like, only you would be glad that that happened. Also, like, really, it was not that bad. Like, I've read contemporary romances where I had a much more painful time reading than this. So, yeah. Also, I don't know, like, there's also, like, lots of mentions of, like, roses and stuff. Because remember at the start, I was like, is this, like, Beauty and the Beast? But I think it's just funny because there are mentions to Romeo and Juliet. And some of the things that happen in Romeo and Juliet, like, it's cool how it ties into this. I'm not saying too much, but I was like, oh, wait, yes, that makes sense, because that's what happened. The reason why I'm kind of saying a lot, though, is because I feel like a lot of people read this book, and also a lot of people have disliked this book. Rating-wise, it's definitely more in, like, the 2-star category. It's like, I just can't give it a 3, you know? But it's not a 1, and I really thought when I was going to read this was going to be 1. But, like, also, there's parts of it that were definitely a 3-star. So, it just depends on, like, what you need. And I definitely think I was definitely more incentivized to get this book done because I was like, I cannot read my new anticipated releases. The ones that are right up there, which you can kind of see them. They're up there. We've got Say You Remember Me up there. We have Conditions of Will. No, we don't. That's such a lie. That is not those books. Never mind. These are my anticipated releases, some of them. Like, I was like, I cannot read these until I finish this because this is part of, like, the March Read It or Unhaul It challenge. Guys, I know. But this month in April, I'm going to sort it out. But I was like, I can't move on to my anticipated. This is done. So I was incentivized to read it. But see, like, my anticipated releases here. I just came out last month, but I didn't read it then. And then, these are just other books that I just got. And I am interested in reading at the moment. I know. But honestly, I did nowhere near hate this as much as I thought I was going to hate it. Definitely think the audiobook helped a lot. Especially considering I was doing things And it was just so entertaining to listen to while I was doing such like boring, mundane tasks, because I was just like, what on earth is going on? So that is that. Now, let's talk about the last book. Let's talk about Jane Eyre. 5 stars the video. I love this book. Oh, sorry, Jane, I did not mean to slap your face. Literally, I adore this writing style. Oh, these are my thoughts from like the very beginning of the book. See, she's treated badly by her aunt, her cousins, even the maids, because basically they're all rich and they don't want her. But I love that she's not a doormat. Like she's excluded from the Christmas festivities with the presents and the dinners and the evening parties, and she would sit on the stair thing and like observe, and it's just so sad. And you know, it's definitely winter, cold, dreary, haunted vibes. I feel like I was doing a pretty good job of like updating as I went with like all 3 of these books, because normally I don't, but I feel like I was trying really hard to. Yeah, there is a lot of religious discussions about hell and being wicked in this. And my last note was, oh, she's being sent away to the Lowood institution, which like this all happened like at the very beginning, and I feel like at the beginning, and then as it got on, I was more good. I was better at giving things. I love the way this book is written. I love the quotes. This book is for the sad girls. I think the setting, and the ending, I feel like I already said this. I understand why the ending happened. I understand. It was not what I was expecting. I definitely suspected different things happened at the ending, and it didn't, but I understand, and I'm still giving it 5 stars. I really thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I would highly recommend it. It is so good. It is, when you're reading it, you're just so immersed in the story. You just want to know what's going on. Just the way everything is written, and like the storyline and the situations, and the way that things mentioned briefly in the very beginning, how they are also then mentioned at the end. And you know, sometimes there's like what I'm thinking of, for example, okay, very out of context, the horse chestnut tree, that's mentioned in the beginning, it's also mentioned near the end, and it's such a small thing, but I'm just like, like I love when things, if they're mentioned, but it's purposeful. It's not just a mention because of whatever. But that is that. And yeah, I'm so glad that I read this book. I'm so glad we got it, because it was so good, and I would highly recommend it. So if you're taking anything away, so far, this is my favorite book from this Read It or Unhaul It challenge. I enjoyed my time so much reading this. Honestly, if we're to rank the books so far, I'm going with Jane Eyre, then I'm going with The Tale of Two Cities, then I cannot believe I'm actually saying this, then I'm going with My Dark Romeo. Actually, My Dark Romeo and The Outsider, they're equal. Julia is kind of just there in the corner, like I'm doing the ranking and then Julia's just there, because I don't know. I'm very conflicted and confused with how I feel about the book. I'm not confused about what happened in the book. I'm confused about how I feel about the book. And then in last place, unfortunately, we have the perfectly proper Paranormal Museum. But that's what we have so far. So really, this was quite a good month. And I feel like as the months progress, it's just getting better. And 3 books off my TBR that, I'm going to be quite honest, like, I don't think I would have just casually picked up. This one especially, because I was just like, I don't know. And then, I don't know, classics, I love reading classics, but then sometimes I'm just like, I feel like unless I can give it my 100% time and energy and effort, I don't want to do it. But this challenge is kind of just like providing opportunities for me to make the fact that I want to be like 100% in it and just immersed in the world and everything. But I'm so glad that this is done, and I'm vowing that for April I'm going to actually do this challenge properly, and I'm not going to be talking to you in May because I'm going to get the video uploaded before the end. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Oh, I have an assignment due tonight, I just remembered. Should I have been sitting here for the past like hour just talking about books when I have an assignment too? No, because I have to get ready for work soon as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, read this, it's so good. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!